I am the servant of Elisha, and this is my story. I woke before the sun had fully climbed the hills. The air was still, but something felt wrong. It was not a sound at first. It was a weight, the kind that presses against your chest before your mind understands why. I stepped outside, expecting the quiet of another morning, but what I saw stopped my breath halfway in. The city was surrounded. Horses, chariots, soldiers positioned in a wide circle, sealing every path. Their armor caught the early light, flashing like scattered fire. They were not passing through. They were waiting for us. My hands went cold. My thoughts scattered. I counted the distance to the nearest exit, then to the hills, then back again, as if measuring could create a way out. There was none. Every direction ended in them. I turned back inside, my steps quick but uneven. "Master," I said, though my voice felt thin, "we are surrounded." The words sounded smaller than what I had seen. I wanted to say more, to explain the number, the formation, the certainty of capture. But fear crowded out my speech. He did not move quickly. That unsettled me more than the army. He stepped outside, and I followed, though every instinct told me to hide. I watched his face as he looked over the same hills I had just scanned in panic. He saw what I saw, the same soldiers, the same walls of iron and intent, and yet nothing in him tightened, no rush, no strain. "Do not be afraid," he said. The words struck me wrong, not because I didn't want them to be true, but because everything around me argued against them. My chest was tight, my breathing shallow. Fear was not something I had chosen. It had arrived on its own and taken control. "They have more," I said, quietly, my eyes fixed on the ring of soldiers. He turned slightly toward me. "Those who are with us are more than those who are with them." I tried to understand what he meant, but I saw no one else. No reinforcements, no hidden men. Only us, two, and them, many. My mind searched for something practical, a plan, a hidden strategy. But his words did not point to anything I could measure or prepare for. That made the fear shift into something sharper, confusion. Then he prayed. It was not loud. It was not long. But it was direct, as if he knew exactly what needed to be done. "Lord, open his eyes so that he may see." I did not feel anything at first, no sudden force, no change in the air. I stood there, still aware of the army, still aware of the danger. For a moment, I wondered if anything had happened at all. Then I looked again, not at the soldiers, but beyond them. The hills were no longer empty. At first, it was light, subtle, but different from the rising sun. Then shapes began to form within it. Horses, but not like the ones below. These did not strain against reins or shift their weight with impatience. They stood with purpose, still yet alive with strength. Around them were chariots, their presence intense, their edges burning as if fire itself had taken form. They were everywhere. They filled the hills that surrounded the army that surrounded us. My breath caught again, but not from fear. Something inside me shifted, as if the ground beneath my thoughts had been replaced. The soldiers below had not moved. Their numbers had not changed. But they were no longer the largest force in view. I realized then that my fear had been built on what I could see, and what I could see had been incomplete. My hands, which had been trembling, began to steady. Not because the situation had changed outwardly, but because what I understood about it had changed entirely. The army below remained, Their weapons were real. Their intent was still fixed on us. But now they stood inside something greater, something they could not see. I looked at Elisha. He had not changed. He had stood in this understanding the entire time. Where I had seen only threat, he had already seen protection. Where I had measured numbers, he had known presence. The noise of the soldiers below seemed smaller now, not silent, but reduced. Their movement felt contained, as if they operated within limits they did not recognize. I did not speak. There were no words that fit what I had just seen. My fear had not been foolish. It had been based on what was visible, but it had also been incomplete. I stood there longer than I intended, taking in the sight again and again, as if I needed to confirm it had not disappeared. The fire did not fade. The horses did not shift. They remained, steady, surrounding, certain. Something inside me settled, but not completely. I was not suddenly fearless. The memory of the army was still present. The possibility of harm had not vanished from my mind, but it no longer held the same control. I understood now that fear can be real and still not be accurate. As the day moved forward, events unfolded that I could not have predicted. But what stayed with me was not just what happened. It was what I had seen. I had lived within a limited view, reacting to what was visible, measuring outcomes based on what could be counted. But that morning exposed a larger reality, one that had been present the entire time, even when I was unaware of it. I did not forget the feeling of waking to that army, the tightness, the urgency, the instinct to run. But now it sits beside another memory, the sight of those hills filled with fire, the quiet certainty of a presence that did not need to announce itself to be real. I still wake early. I still step outside and look at what surrounds me. But I no longer trust my first glance to tell me everything. The reference scripture is 2 Kings 6:15-17.